Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you guys in detail how to do stitch cornrows or stitch feed-in braids. Okay, this is how they turned out. They turned out super bomb. So if you guys are interested in this is how they turned out. They turned out super bomb. So if you guys are interested in watching, then go ahead and continue watching and learning, and let's just go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so my client is fully natural. She officially cut all her relaxed ends off, I think, last year, but she's always had pretty full and thick hair. If you guys don't recognize her, she was the person in my lemonade braids video, and if you guys haven't seen that, I will link that below in the description box. But yes, so she always had a lot of hair, always had pretty high dense hair. So with styles I do on her, smaller braids work better because, you know, the fewer the braids, the more bulkier her hair will look. And it just looks more sleek and streamlined and neat when she has smaller braids, okay? So, yes, so I'm doing 10 stitch braids on her head. And yes, guys, so what I like to do is I like to start off, of course, on freshly, washed hair, blow dried straight, whatever. When it's cornrows, definitely blow dried straight works the best. Honestly, the straighter the better. However, you don't have to flat iron your hair or anything. When it comes to me, I can work on blowed out hair. So yeah, so I like to part the hair down the middle. That way I can split the hair from left to right and try to get even amount of braids on both sides. So like I said, I knew I was going to do at least 10. Now, if I end up making like 11 or 12 braids, I wasn't going to charge her any more or anything like that. Because like I said, sometimes clients have super thick hair and you just have to do more braids, okay? So yeah, that is you guys' decision if you want to charge more for the additional 1 or 2 braids that you end up having to add, okay? I personally don't. But I end up doing 10 braids, that's what she wanted. So it worked out perfectly for today. So like I said, I part her hair down the middle, and I'm working on the left side right now, and I'm just literally pre-parting. I'm trying to figure out how I want the braids, how thick I want them to be, and how close, I'm just trying to figure out how I want the braids to look, okay? So I recommend definitely pre-parting, doing this like rough giraffe parting first. And then I recommend for you guys to just loosely braid the hair out the way. I'm flat twisting it. You can flat twist or you can braid, but braid will be a little bit more secure and you'll be able to, see things a little better. But to me, flat twisting just kind of worked for me because it's quicker and I don't have to sit here and just be braiding the hair. Yeah, anybody got time for that? So this style took me 3.5 hours to do. Yes, so I don't know. You guys probably can do it quicker, but I like to take my time. Especially with stitch braids, I don't do them all the time. I barely do them, honestly. However, I do know how to do them. And, when you don't do a style, often, it tends to take you longer. It tends to take me longer. But, the more you know how to do a style, the quicker you'll become. But I don't do these often, so these take me, 3.5, 4 hours for freaking 10 braids, okay? So yeah, so like I said, I am just pre-parting and flat twisting the hair out the way. And I'm just literally going to do that on both sides, you guys. And whenever I am done with the full head, I'm just going to literally tie it with a rubber band and start to get everything started. Okay, y'all, so I'm done with the flat twisting. You see I got 2 duct clips just keeping everything down, and then I tied her hair with rubber bands. So I'm using the Queen Bee pre-stretched braiding hair in the color 1B. It is in the length 50 inches, okay? 50 inches usually sits like above their booty area. Once you hit 60 inches, it's starting being waist length. But yeah, so I got everything prepared. So how I prep the hair is I literally just do super small pieces of hair, all the same length. I pretty much like to do it all the same length until I get to the bottom of her head. Then I like to make the pieces a little thicker just to kind of have more thickness at the bottom of her hair, like where above the neck where I hit that area. So yeah. I didn't show like the pieces that I did, but like I said, they're super small pieces. And then I just have bigger pieces to add at the back. The product I'm using is just Shine and Jam. This is going to get your parting super, super, super sleek and precise, okay? Because it lays down natural hair so, so well to the point where you'll be able to see exactly what needs to be added or taken away in the parting space, okay? So I am starting off with on the left side, and I'm starting off with the first braid. So I'm taking the flat twist out. I'm taking the flat twist out of that braid in the next braid, so that way I'm able to part, more precisely. And with my combs, I like to use a comb that is pointy because it's just way more precise. Like a rat tail comb, some of the rat tail combs have like flat points, and it just doesn't be as precise as I would like it to be. So so I like to use that way I'm able to literally see what needs to be added and taken away, as you guys can see. Now if you had that flat twist on the second twist still in, you'll be snagging the hair. Everything will be, just be pulling and tugging, and you don't want that. You don't want breakage when you're trying to do a protective style on someone. So yes, I like to just take both twists out, and then before I start on the first braid, I'll just retwist or clip it out the way the other row of braids that I'm not starting on yet. So with that comb, as you guys can see, I'm going to show it again, but I showed you guys that it's like a space missing. I literally broke off a piece of the comb, the teeth on the comb, so that way I have more space and I have a clear view of how to part the hair. Okay, so I suggest using duct clips on the sides of the hair. That way no hair gets snagged in while you're trying to braid, because that's just more of a hassle that you don't want to deal with. Okay, so so me getting started, I'm parting out a section where I want a little bit of baby hair, not much, just a little bit this time. And I'm just putting the Shine and Gem at the front and, like I said, on the sides, and I'm about to start to braid. So I like to part in half. So you guys can see I literally am parting that row in half. And with doing this, you're able to get a more precise stitch, okay? So I split it in half, and then I split a little section at the front to start the feed-in braid, okay? Now her hair is super, super full, like I stated, so I'm not even going to add a lot of braiding hair throughout the braids, because I want the braids to look natural. I want them to be thinner. I don't want them to be thick on top of her head. I want them to lay pretty flat. So I'm using a lot of her own hair. So the only thing I really am focused on is making the braids long. And that's where the braiding hair is going to come into effect, okay? I literally only use two or three bundles of the pack that I showed you guys out of that one jumbo, pack that it's included. That includes like a lot of, bundles into one pack. Like I said, her hair is already full, and I wanted it to look natural. So I'm literally only adding small pieces of hair throughout her head, and I'm not even adding it every single time, okay? I'm really going to only add, once I get to the back and the bottom of her braids, to add length and a little bit thickness in the back, okay? Like I stated, I want her braids to look extremely, extremely natural, and I got that look. So if you guys are looking for that same type of look, just follow my directions, okay? So I'm showing you guys, I'm literally braiding in super slow motion. Like, this is real time. I take my freaking time with those stitch braids. You rushing it, you're gonna mess up, okay? And if you do mess up, I suggest you guys take it out, because you want it to be clean. You want to be proud of your work. So splitting that in half, splitting the side from left to right in half like that, it allows you to take your time and not get pieces mixed up when you're stitching. So when you're stitching from the left and using that comb, and you're about to grab that hair into the braid, it allows the stitch to be very, very neat, because when you have the left side, that's separate. And then when you move to the right side, that's separate. That hair is separate as well. So it allows clean lines when you separate the hair from the left to right, okay? Now, one thing I can say that I struggled with the stitch braids was, I used to not have a good grip, okay? So what I like to do is I like to always make sure my grip is good when I am braiding before I even add hair, because even if you stitch, stitch the braids, you guys, if your grip is poor, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look flat or neat. It's going to bubble up. The hair is not going to look, tight. The grip is everything. So as you guys can see, a lot of times I'm literally braiding and then I'm pulling the hair and getting a better grip. And then I'm going with the braid again, and then I'm pulling the hair and getting a better grip. And a lot of times I'm not even adding hair, but I'm still pulling the hair back in to get a more secure grip after I'm adding the stitch to the braid, okay? Pulling the hair and getting the grip better every single time you add a stitch will allow the hair to be tight and allow the stitch to look more precise, because you're gripping and you're actually showing the parting space, okay? So go from left to right when it comes to the stitch, okay? Go from left to right. If you feel like maybe the shine and jam turned greasy on you, or you feel like the hair is not as tight as it was, then you can add more shine and jam. Now, I don't recommend just keep adding shine and jam because you're thinking that adding more product will make it lay flatter. It's really the grip. The grip makes the difference, okay? Not adding more product, not trying to get those parts more sleek. No, baby. It's the grip. So don't try to just add so much product and your hair be slippery. How are you going to grip if the hair is super slippery? You know what I'm saying? Add how much you need to add and leave it be. Don't keep just adding the shine and jam to the part. And you can add shine and jam after that to the hair, to kind of just smooth out the cornrow, but to the parting space on the roots, do not keep adding hair because it will be slippery and you won't be able to grip it the way you want. Trust when I say, okay? So you guys can see right there, I'm just adding to the hair, not to the part. And you guys will be able to see a way better view, guys. So don't you be nervous. Don't you guys be like, oh my God, I'm not able to see. That second braid, you'll be able to see. Me mess up, you'll be able to see what to do when you mess up. You'll be able to see a super, super clear picture. But I had to kind of rotate her to my side, like to me, because that's how I'm gripping. Now, if you guys grip better on your knees, do that, okay? Because some parts of right here, like the back of heads, I usually get on my knees, guys, and start gripping because it's better that way for me to grip the hair. Find what works for you when it comes to gripping the hair, guys. This is going to be a more of a talkative video because I really want to try to help you guys learn this method. It is very, very difficult to learn this method. It took me a while because you just have to get the parting right, the stitching right and everything. Now, when it comes to the stitching, a lot of people do use their nails and things like that. To me, the comb just gives me more control. Once I'm able to, use the comb and kind of make that part, I'm able to put the comb down and grab that little space that I just made the part and add that to my cornrow. And then it gives me more, and then I'm going to grip it tight before I go to the other side of the head, which will be the right side. And I will do the same thing. Once I get to the right side, I will use a comb, make a little part, and then put the comb down and then grip that part that I'm about to add at that, the stitch that I made. And then I'm going to grip that, make sure it's tight before I continue braiding. So the key is to, whenever you're making the part, grip that part tight and make sure you have a tight grip before you move on to the next side, okay? Because if you don't, it will slip or it will not be neat or you will see bubbles in the hair and it won't lay flat. I'm trying to tell you guys what I know. Now, you'll notice that the side braids are a little bit more difficult to do only because you're at an angle. When you get towards the top, you'll realize that it's a lot easier to grip and a lot easier to kind of, before you're about to do the stitch, when I part that in half, you have that left side and that right side to work with, you'll realize that you're able to kind of put your palm on, in the middle of the head, in the middle of the braid, and you'll be able to keep the left and the right sides of the stitch part separate. And that will be able to give you more of a clear view of you adding hair and you gripping as well. I can grip better from the top but that's just me. I don't know if everyone is the same way. I didn't braid her hair all the way to the bottom until it was the end. Now, when I was editing this video, you guys, it was a lot of stuff that was deleted. I actually filmed like the whole half of her head. However, it was deleted, you guys, and I'm so sorry. I was so upset that I deleted it. I deleted it by accident, you guys, trying to edit and trying to clear space on my phone. But yeah, but you got, that's why I'm making it detailed and still long, and I'm actually doing it in real time to still give you guys a clear understanding of how you do these braids, okay? It's literally the same concept throughout the whole head, okay? Yeah, so that's basically what I'm trying to tell you guys. You'll be able to see how I end the braids. When I am done with the stitch braids, I do like to put some type of foam, lotion, or mousse on the hair. This helps lay the flyaways that may be sitting on top of the cornrow that you were not able to add into the cornrow while you were braiding. So put a good amount of mousse on there, guys, and then I like to do the edges while the mousse is just sitting. I'll do the edges. I use the even edge control purple top. That's one of my favorite edge controls to use. It works on all textures and it gets it pretty smooth. So I use that even edge control for the edges. And then after I do the edges, the foam is drying up, but it's not completely dry. I like to tie some wrap strips on top of the head, and that is going to flatten out the edges and have that, dry up pretty well and dry flat, and that is going to help the hair dry flat, the flyaways kind of mold flat as well. Now, when I'm done with those, when I tie everything down with the wrap strips, then I like to braid the hair down on the ends all the way down to the end of the braid. And then when I do that, I like to spray some Got to Be Glue hairspray, and that is going to kind of make the braids a little firm, so that way they hold well under any type of humidity and any type of water that may possibly hit the braids or something like that. So yeah, so after I spray everything down, I like to untie her hair and everything's dry. I then will dip it in hot water, dip her ends in hot water, and that is just to seal everything to make sure the ends don't unravel. Then once I seal everything, to add moisture back to the hair, I like to do oil sheen. But you guys are going to see all of this, but I want to go ahead and explain this beforehand. So right here, I do mess up. You guys are going to see me mess up and take everything out. But yeah, so I mess up and I just restarted. Yeah. So I'm adding little tiny pieces of the braiding hair at the beginning. It ends up not working out for me. I think I should have added hair a little bit later, maybe like the 4th or the 5th turn, because adding the hair at the beginning gave it a little knot at the front that I did not want. So yeah, it didn't work out for me. So I ended up taking everything out. But right here is a good view if you guys can see like the left side from the right side. You see how I kind of make the stitch and I grip it really tight before I move on to the left side. That is something that you want to make sure that you continue doing. But see, I'm separating it, have the right side from the left side. And then I'm adding a little piece. But like I said, what I end up messing up at, I know why I took it out, is because I end up adding braiding hair a little too quick. And it just didn't give me that flat look that I really wanted. So, yeah. But you guys can see under it, I'm doing a stitch right there. I'm going to do the stitch, and then I'm going to grip the hair. I'm going to put the comb down, and I'm going to re-grip. See, I just re-gripped right there, you guys, before I moved on to the next stitch. I tried to do it with my thumb. I think it worked on that time. Yeah, so it worked on that time, which is cool. But I really recommend using the comb. And the reason why I didn't use the comb is because the comb was on the left side, and I didn't feel like grabbing it, to do the right stitch. Because it just would have made everything like I would have had to do like a pretzel to try to get the comb again, So, yeah. But yeah, I think I'm about to start braiding, and I realized like I need to start over because it just didn't end up working out for me. But yeah, I'm continuing on, y'all, but I'm letting you know I ended up messing up and it just didn't look right. So yeah, I grab the stitch, grip it, and then I proceed when it comes to braiding the cornrow. Using the comb at this time, grabbing it, putting the comb down, gripping it again. I just re-grip right there, guys, before I moved on. Move the right side hair out the way. Yep. I was like, I messed up. I don't think I like the way the braid had looked. You guys can't see, but I think it just didn't flow right. I messed up at the very front. It just didn't flow right, so I ended up starting back over. But I'm going to use those stitches to kind of just go as a guide as I continue to start over. I'm not going to like kind of just take everything out. I'm going to leave those stitches in there. So I'm starting over again with her hair by itself. Okay, start on the right side, and as you guys can see, yeah, I'm adding a little bit of hair right there, but I don't think I'm going to keep adding hair over and over. Yep, so I'm just going to keep on braiding, go to the right side, go under, then grab that piece. Okay, so the method I use on this side, you know how sometimes when people are feeding in hair, they'll grab, the hair and they'll just braid all the hair in at one time. That messed me up at the beginning. So what helped me, as you guys can see, was I end up splitting the hair. So I end up grabbing a piece of hair, but then I only included the bottom piece of the hair. I added the top piece later on. As you guys can see what I did with my thumb, I kind of like laid the piece and let the piece kind of do its thing on the side until I added it back. And that helped the transition a lot easier for me at the very beginning of the hair. Now, as I keep going, I don't, grab the piece of the hair, leave one half of the hair out, and then braid the other half, and then add the other hair later. I end up not doing that because it just, you just got to find out what works for you, you guys. Splitting the hair in half at the beginning works for me. It helps the transition easier at the front because the hair is thin on the edges. But as I am braiding through the cornrows, the other method works for me, just kind of grabbing all the hair together. That works for me. But yeah, I'm just, see how now I'm adding all the hair together. Using the comb, adding that extra grip, doing a little bit of shine and jam, and proceeding to go to the right side. Use my nail because it was easier at the time, and then going to the left side. I'm going to use my comb. And make sure, you're moving the hair out the way so that way no hair is getting caught in. Yeah, I end up using my pinky again, my nail again. But for the most part, like I said, I like to use a comb, guys. It's way more precise, especially if you don't have any nails to work with. But you see, I just keep going back and forth. Sometimes I use a comb, sometimes I use a nail, whichever feels convenient at that moment to use. And you want to make sure that everything is neat. You want to make sure that you're applying that shine and jam to the hair on the ends and you're combing it through to make sure you have a more streamlined look. But yeah, I'm doing the same method, guys, the entire time. The entire time, y'all. Stitching, gripping the hair, moving to the other side, stitching, adding the hair, gripping the hair, and then braiding, going to the other side. If the hair is thinner, you'll be adding hair right before you stitch. No, you'll be adding hair after you stitch because you'll stitch it, then you'll have that precise part of where you want to go next. Then you add the hair, and then you go to the other side. Yeah, stitching first, then adding the hair is easier in my opinion. If you add the hair and then try to stitch, you may lose grip. So stitching first, adding the hair second, and then proceeding to the other side gives you a more streamlined finish. You kind of have an idea of what direction to go. Yeah. I'm glad I kind of figured that out. I just thought about that. Yeah, definitely stitching first works. I hope you guys are looking through this video, and I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying, and I hope my words are helping. Because once you find that momentum and realize the routine of you stitching, it'll be a lot easier, you guys. And all of this is definitely practice. I'm not the best at it. I think I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not the best. So, yeah. And then when you get towards the bottom, you're not really going to see any stitches, so you don't have to do the stitch when you get towards like the bottom of the head. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The video will continue playing. You're going to see how I end the braids and etc. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video and it was informative, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and share this video, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Love ya. Mwah. I can't give you the somebody want us to believe that you somebody to see, searching for a feeling, and you would give up anything just to show us you had it. All she wanna do is talk fashion, make a couple mil off passion, house on a hill, live lavish, lavish, rolling with my hitters on the west side. Only got $1 and a drink. Pull up with your shawties, want the spotlight. Lights, camera, action, make her sing. Don't hit me crying from your bedside, cause you in love with the finer things. Don't hit me crying from your bedside, please. I can't give you the world, but I can't give you my heart. I can't give you the world, but I hope this is a start. You mean the world to me. Oh no, you mean the world to me. Oh no, you mean the world to me. Showing off, baby girl walk in looking hotter than the summer, make a brother wanna stop, drop, roll. Prima donna chasing after commas, pop a collar, everybody know her heart to froze. Don't hit me crying from your bedside, cause you in love with the finer things. Don't hit me crying from your bedside, please. I can't give you the world, but I can't give you my heart. I can't give you the world, but I hope this is a start. You mean the world to me. Oh no, you mean the world to me. Oh no, you mean the world to me. Make a couple million, house on a hill, live lavish. I can't give you the world. I can't give you the world. You wanna be somebody.